We live. What up? I sound like Robert Kennedy. I sound like old Bobby Kennedy, head of the America. Health America again. What's going on? I'm Rob. This is my shirt that I like to wear in public. A lot of people don't get it. A lot of people don't know who old Johnny Brown, old Captain Brown was. But if you know, you know. I'm just doing a quick live because I go live every weekday. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We talk comedy, commentary, entertainment, news, lots of news. But I'm just doing a quick live because my son's very sick. I've been running around doctors. This is my second CVS. I got to get back home. But I wanted to bring this to you because in all my reading of the news today, sorting and sifting through the news today, I found this amazing article linked down below that you've seen. Everybody heard about the plane crash. The plane in the Black Hawk crashed. First time in 16 decade and a half. First time in many, many years that we've had a crash like this on American soil or water. I don't know. Soil, I guess, would just stand for in America. Let's just say it like that. And immediately, Emily, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, I hope the little man feels better too. It's been brutal. Thank you, Em. Good to see you, by the way, and love you and miss you. Bandito, good to see you, and I love you and miss you. But I don't love you like I love Em. Let's be very clear on that. A Learjet 55 just went down in Philly. Are you for real? FAA report on plane crash. Jesus, this is, oh God. No. Okay, Bandito. Well, I'll be reading about that when I get home, when I'm watching over my little man while he sleeps. This is the scariest thing about kids being sick, man, because I literally just sit next to him while he sleeps, make sure he's breathing. You know, I remember doing that when they were babies, but I still do it, and be very honest, because when he's this sick, when they're this sick, you're like, you're just sitting and waiting and watching, just making sure they're okay. But anyways, so capacity is 6 to 8. Oh, God damn. That's horrifying. I'll tell you that. That's one of the most horrifying things in the world for me, a plane crash. Horrifying. And if you ever seen the Society of Snow, or the Snow Society on Netflix, about it used to be called, the first movie was Alive, about the Colombian, Nicaraguan, I'm sorry, I forget, the rugby team that was going to play in the crash in the Andes Mountains. But that is like terrifying. Because like, if you're going to be in a plane crash, you know, I don't know if you want to survive that. Like the post-traumatic stress you have after that, gnarly. But I wanted to talk about this other, I guess there's a new crash. Bandito alerted me to. I watch plane spotting streams all the time. Really? I didn't know there was plane spotting. I knew there was train spotting. But yeah, so Bandito, I know there's a new one, but we're not going to talk about this one, whatever just happened, because I'm fully unaware of anything. I trust and believe you, but aviation nerd, yeah, buddy, that scared me too much. Planes and space scared the F out of me. And sickness. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, you know, people don't, when they talk about their fears, people like sharks, you know, the deep sea. I'm like, sickness scares the hell out of me. Germs, oh, they're terrifying. They're so small you can't see. We don't even know what they look like. They could look ugly. They could all look like little Joe Pesci's trying to get into your body. Ugh. Anyways, Caseo, D-Destroyer. That's what Bandito's saying. I haven't seen it. But what I want to talk about is the other crash. I hate that I have to say this. America's a disaster. It's all Trump's fault. It is. I don't give a shit what you say. For the last 4 years, I had to listen to everybody talk about gas and eggs being Biden's fault. Well, guess what? This is on Trump. All right? If we're going to play that fucking game, and I did a live stream about that. Please hit subscribe and notification bell. I go live every weekday. Try to bring you some news and some, hopefully, commentary to either spark a discussion or to just make you laugh. Whether you think I'm stupid or you think I said something funny, I just hope you get a smile out of the live stream. More than a smile. F that. Smile, that's setting the bar low. I hope you get a chuckle, a hearty chuckle, and maybe a spart. What would a spart be? A spray fart. A spart. Gross. Anyways, since this crash, Trump and Elon, I can't even fucking go on Twitter. I'm not going to delete my account, but man, I can't even go on there. You know when they're dead wrong, when like Elon can't not, he's obsessively posting like everything to like push blame in a certain direction. There's so no accountability with these men in general. Like the only time they take accountability is like if somebody's like, oh, is Tesla your business? Which it's not. Well, I mean, it's his business. Or if they're like, did you create Tesla? They'll take accountability for that and credit. I guess they'll take credibility for that, even though he didn't invent Tesla. It's amazing how many people think that. Like he didn't. There were two geniuses who created Tesla. He bought and pushed them out. So they'll take credibility when it's like not due, but they won't take it when they should be like, you know what? We're running the country. We're in charge. We should be looking at this. It's all like, you know what happened? And the funniest part, if you haven't heard this, Bandito, I wonder if you heard this, because I don't think Sam C, I don't think the Majority Report, I don't think some more news, I don't think anybody's gone live with this yet. But I've been posted it on my Blue Sky. I haven't done a TikTok on it yet, but it's vital that we understand this, because Elon's pushing everything and everything. He's throwing so much poo at the wall, you'd think that dude was a monkey. And Trump went out in front of people in a White House press conference and said it's DEI, it's a woke agenda. And you know what the funniest part about that is? Link down below. The DEI program for the FAA was launched by Trump in 2019. The program that he had blamed, that he went out into the press conference and talked about people with disabilities and other things. The thing that he was pointing to, saying this specific DEI program is the reason that crash happened, and he was trying to blame it on Biden and wokeness and Obama and, you know, probably Clinton and George Washington. I don't know. At this point, you just name a president and it was their fault. Anybody but his, which I have a problem with people that do that. And it's amazing how many people let that slide, but if it happened in their real life, they'd be like, fuck that noise. But the funniest part is whatever he's blaming it on, the research has shown up. It only takes people a little bit of time to fact check. And people came out the woodwork and said, oh, that program that you're talking about with people with disabilities and the FAA and including whatever, Trump, you launched that in 2019. That was your program as you were president. You went out and talked about it on Fox and probably bragged all about it and tried to win brownie points or whatever. And he's trying to blame it on that. Even though I don't think any of this, I think we're all living in the context of a lie anyways. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to look more recently, Elon Musk helped push out the FAA main guy, the top dude, because that guy was calling out SpaceX's, you know, safety record, which is not good. And Elon Musk threatened for him to leave, and he resigned on January 20th, Trump's first day. And then when you hear about the stories of how understaffed the air traffic controller, which Bandito probably knows about this. My grandfather flew over 30 missions in a B-17 during World War II, never lost a man or a bomber during combat. My man, respect. Yeah, I just did a TikTok. If you're on TikTok, at Boston Rob with 3 B's, ROBB. Follow me on TikTok too. Because how's it Trump fault? You know how, Octagram? Because he's the president. He's in charge of the skies. Let's play that game. Everything was Biden's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. And we're just going to play the stupid game, which everybody loves to do this. The gas prices are the president's job. Egg prices are the president's job. And we're not looking at like, well, what's really going on? You know, if we're going to play that stupid game, which I'm sure you've played it if you're a Trump supporter, then guess what? Trump's fault. He's in charge. Hate to break it to you, losers, that everything that sucks right now is Trump's fault. Just like the last 4 years, it was Biden's fault. Let's just dumb it down to that, because really, like, America is all about what they heard first. They just believe it, and they don't need to think critically on anything. So Trump's fault. But the funny part is if you didn't hear that Trump blaming it on DEI, he's blaming it on a DEI program that he started in 2019, which is fucking hilarious. But I don't think it has anything to do with DEI or wokeness or whatever the people like to try to fearmonger. I'm not playing that game. I didn't even vote. Awesome. Reality bites, baby, or bits. DEI and affirmative action never really resulted in much of anything. Yeah, right? The only DEI and affirmative action that we've seen that has been a catastrophe is the nepotism hires. You know, like, Ivanka Trump doing God knows what, being in the White House. Like all of Trump's kids being in the White House, those are DEI hires. Those are fucking affirmative action. Those are nepotism hires, and it's ruining the country. You want to talk about a DEI hire? How about that illegal immigrant from South Africa called Elon Musk, Enron Musk? That's a DEI hire, okay? They put him in a place, he was unelected, and he's a fucking nightmare. Anyways, it's just the logic that isn't logicking. Well, octogram R, lowercase r, or octagra Mister, I prefer that. Unless you prefer something different, let me know. When you like, I've just been reading a lot and researching a lot and reading other people's research, and there are people leaking to Ken Klippenstein right now, and he's sharing these leaks on Blue Sky, and they're from pilots, and these pilots are talking about how air traffic control has basically been gutted, right? So in one of these leaked memos, it says there was one guy on duty and all planes had to like halt what they were doing because he had to use the bathroom. And I thought this is why we shouldn't be underfunding government stuff. Remember, government's supposed to provide a service, not profit. And when Trump tries to pivot to let's privatize, all of this FAA stuff, that's going to be a nightmare. Because if you don't understand what privatizing means, that means they give it to corporations. And you know what corporations do? They don't work for the people. They're not a service. They only exist to make money. What that means is that they will not only understaff and underfund and underpay people, but they will do it at a rate like AI will be running air traffic control things. And you know how great AI is right now. CJ. By the way, good to see you. This is probably caused by overworked and underpaid people, 100%. Well, and that's what the leakers, if you're not on Blue Sky and you don't follow Ken Klippenstein, I'm just telling you. I don't know if I can link to some of his stuff if you don't have a Blue Sky. I'm not sure how that works. I don't know if you get access to Blue Sky, like Elon shut down access to Twitter unless you have an account and you're logged in. But Ken is sharing all the leaks, and the stuff that these pilots and air traffic controllers are sharing with him is horrifying. So when they talk about defunding stuff and these tax cuts, which, by the way, if you haven't seen what Republicans are trying to float about cutting out of the government so they can give literally the 1% a bigger tax cut, which I never understand. Whoever's for tax cuts for the rich, you got to be so stupid or that rich. Because, like, these are people who don't need the tax cuts. They're not worrying about rent. They don't need to purchase a house. Maybe they're worrying about, like, paying the chauffeur that drives them to their third yacht in Milan or something, but like these people don't need tax cuts. They need to be paying their fair share. And the people who end up paying for it is us, everybody else. But what Ken Klippenstein is sharing, or Klippenstein, I don't know, is it like Berenstain Bears? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've never heard anybody else do it. But what he's sharing is absolutely horrifying because they're talking about people like one air traffic controller on duty. And if that guy needs to go poop, then planes are just circling for a half hour. And hopefully he doesn't have diarrhea that day, And it just made me think like, oh my God, I don't want to travel by air. Can we please have high-speed rail? Please? I'm begging you. Please, high-speed rail. China has it. And you could get from city to city. Like there was a high-speed rail that was projected to get you from New York to Chicago in like 3 hours or maybe even less, an hour and a half or something. And I was like, why can't we have that? I would love to be able to go see my family in New York in like 30 minutes on the rail, and then go see my other family down in Florida that moved down south in like 4 hours on a high-speed rail. Like how wouldn't utilize that, and it'd be cheaper. Oh God, it would just be so much less stress for the people who don't like to fly. Okay, I will look it up. Yeah, please. Well, if you're on Blue Sky, number one, follow me, Boston Rob, ROBB, at bluesky.social. I forget the handles. But go look up Ken Klippenstein's leaks because they're horrifying. And again, it's not about, like, that's the funny thing about Trump and Elon that's even the other funny layer to this. It's like they're trying to blame the woke agenda and DEI, which it's such a weird cover, especially when you learn that the DEI Trump's blaming is the one program he launched. So it's like he's blaming his past self. But let's get out of that, because the reality of it is this is just a cover for one. I think they're going to try to privatize it so they can let their corporate buddies buy into another industry that they can control and make millions of dollars because people got to fly. but it's really just all a cover for people not being able to be funding services that the government provides, which results in us being less safe and people not being paid enough or not having places well staffed enough. I mean, really, it's look at any industry right now. I don't know if anybody that's huge crash from. Oh no, sources and description. Okay. Oh Jesus, yeah, CJ's verifying it. My Jesus, my heart just goes out to all these people. I'm telling you, I don't think I want to fly again, or at least not for 5 or 6 years. That's horrifying. I don't even know what to say because I haven't read about it, I haven't seen it, but it's a lot of people, again, losing their lives for the profits, somebody making money, And again, I want you to remember that when Trump's and the Republicans are talking about their tax cuts for the rich, because it's not for you and me. We've already laid this out. If you don't make more than $360,000 a year, your taxes are going up. But when they're floating like, well, we need to cut this, or Elon Musk was bragging, Enron Musk was bragging about removing all of the federal government staff, removing $1 billion, $2 billion from the budget, which it's like, you can get that from just taxing these billion-dollar like, I think Facebook's $1 trillion or Apple's $1 trillion company. Like, tax them and you can make up that billion or two. Like, that's not even pocket change for them. So just remember that when they start talking about they want to defund the government and remove everybody from their posts and fire them because they're working from home or whatever they're saying, like, really look into who they want to fire, because a lot of the times it's people who are making sure they're the people who are like the Fight Club. You ever seen Fight Club? They're like, we make sure we take out your trash. We make sure you sleep at night. We're there in the shadows. You don't even see us, and we make sure you're safe. And it's like, you don't consider that until you hear about plane crashes like this. I told him as it went live, you saw the flight radar data. Damn, Bandito, you really are an aviation nerd. That's cool. Man, Bandito, you got to come on the live stream at some point, because that is just interesting stuff, And I don't know any aviation nerds. Everybody I know, we're scared to fly. So it would be reassuring. And the irony is, like, your grandfather flew in World War II. Mine did too. I think it was funny. That's why I made it. I made a funny TikTok video saying, back in the day, some grandfather out there is yelling at all these young kids saying, back in the day with my generation, the greatest generation, we had to fly across 2 oceans and a channel just to fight Yahtzees. And nowadays, you kids got it easy. All you got to do is go down the street to fight them. I thought that was a funny video. I don't think some people got it. The video on my hubby's phone was daring cam a mile away, and those people saw it and felt it. Oh. Flight Radar 24 is a global plane tracker. Ooh, if you could drop the information maybe in the Discord or in the comments down below, I would like to see it, but that is horrifying. It's horrifying. And if this, again, first thing I always want to look into, oh shit, something's happening in Lynn. There's police everywhere. Remember, you ain't got to talk to the police if you're at your house. You exercise your 5th and then your 4th. My gramps was a belly gunner in World War II. Yeah, see? There's a lot of people. We can't lose that knowledge. My grandfather died when I was real young, but, the legacy lives on. We got to keep that going, because I think some of these knuckleheads out here, I'm like, man, I bet some of these new Yahtzees had grandparents that fought the real ones. Anyways, so yeah, I got to get home and get my son this medicine, but I wanted to bring up that DEI thing because it's so funny, because when you hear Trump blaming DEI, just remember he launched that program. Trump bans Tuskegee Airmen and Academy. Can't believe that's true. Did he ban it? Because what I read was that the Air Force, they had took it down as a precursor, thinking like that was going to be put down. And whoever was reporting on that said, like, that's scary in itself that they were willing to remove that stuff. But you could be right. At this point, he's throwing some... Again, these guys are like monkeys. You ever seen a monkey at the zoo that throws its poo? That's what they're doing. They're chucking everything at the wall. That's why you got to have a head on your shoulders, and just sort through it. But again, when stuff like this happens, I wonder, like, you know, how many air traffic controllers were on duty? And it's not their fault. That's the other thing. You know, if there's one on duty, that's not their fault. Who should be hiring these people? Why aren't we funding these things to keep us safe? You know, why don't we have the tax resources? Who should be paying more taxes? Should it be all the people who are making, you know, who are paying $4,000 in taxes a year? Should it be one company that's $1 trillion company that just gave Trump millions of dollars, and they should be paying their billions in taxes a year? Remember that years ago, the corporate tax rate was 90%. Or for the richest people, it was like at 90%. Trump brought it from 35% to 21%. So they're paying less taxes than you and I. It doesn't look like an airplane. It looks like a missile. Oh my God. The old grade Mayher was his plane. That's cool. They put it back up. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I'm not sure. All right, listen, I got to go get my son this medicine, but I just wanted to stop by again. I go live every single day, weekday, not weekends. And this weekend's going to be brutal. But I love you guys. Thank you for the conversation. It's so good to see you, CJ. I love you. I love that you've been in here. I miss you so much. Every time I talk to you, brother, I tell him, please give Em a hug for me. Bandito, really good to see you. You guys, it's just amazing. I love the community we have here. I really do. And if you're new or you just subbed, I thank you very much. I try to bring you some kind of info, and well, everybody does. Everybody in this chat that is the family, the community, the subs, I think everybody equally brings something to the channel. I'm very grateful for that, because that's what I love. I love this communication, because we learn, we build, we discuss. It's a great community. Thank you, CJ. I hope he does too, because this is scary, man. Seeing this kid have a fever for 2 days is really, really terrifying. So I got to go get him his medicine. And something crazy is happening in Lynn. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I kind of want to get out of here. So please keep your head on your shoulders. I also put some things about the Trump tax cuts and what the Republicans are floating to cut. There's the info about the DEI program, and then there was something else, but honestly, I forget, and we'll talk about it on Monday. So hit subscribe and then hit the notification bell. I love you. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys all for the well wishes. I will let them know. And yeah, I hope he feels better too. All right, much love, respect. Peace.